Welcome to the Loud and Board Gaming channel. I'm Ken, and today I'm going over my top 10 solo board games of all time. Last year I did a list, and I only did 5 games, but this year I now have 10. Yes, 10. Maybe next year I'll do 20, because I probably could have done 20 this year, but I just stuck with 10 for now. Some things have changed since last year, so we'll see what it's all about. A lot of these games I do mostly just play solo. Some of them I've only played solo, although I think all but one game you can play multiplayer. I generally just play these games solo. So if you are liking this content, please think about giving a like and subscribe. Please leave any comments that you would like. Maybe some of these games are your favorite games playing solo, or maybe you just like them even playing multiplayer. So if you have any thoughts on any of these games, please leave a comment. These are my favorite games, so you might be wondering, well, why didn't you put this game on your list? Why didn't you play this game on your list? Well, either A, I've never played them before, or maybe B, I play them mostly multiplayer and maybe not solo. For example, Gloomhaven is one of my favorite games. However, I do play that mostly multiplayer. I have played it solo. I would rather play it multiplayer than solo because it is fun playing multiplayer. But anyways, we'll get right to it, starting with number 10. All right, so my number 10 is a war game, and that is Warfighter, the World War II Pacific combat card game. Now, I'm not really that much into war games. I probably have, as far as like World War II setting war games, I have 3. I have this. I have Heroes of Normandy, and I have Fields of Fire. But this one I just recently got, maybe last year. I'm really enjoying this. So this game, Warfighter Pacific Combat, is basically a squad-based game where you are taking a small squad and going on a mission. It's all card-based, and you roll dice. You create a little squad here. You can pick your soldiers, and then you give them different abilities, you give them different equipment, and then you are kind of going through a mission and going to different locations and fighting off the enemies. I'll just take a quick look at this. So the game comes with a lot of different chits to represent different tokens. Now this game might be a little bit complicated. It's not as complicated as something like Fields of Fire, but it could be a little bit complicated for others. You have these different decks. So here's your enemies, your frontline enemies, and you would reveal these cards as you're going through the game. It is dice heavy, so you are rolling dice. So if you're not someone who is crazy about rolling dice and seeing what happens, you're really a lot of times at the mercy of the dice. Let me see if I can get some heroes out. So the game is played on this pretty big board, and you're placing the cards in these different columns, and usually you're starting here with your squad, and you're just going through each of the columns, and the enemies would be revealed to you in each of the columns, and a lot of different stats that you are trying to roll. They will attack you, you attack them. You have this action deck. So this action deck, you'll get a hand of these, and it allows you to do different abilities while you're playing the game. Each squad member has a certain number of actions that they can take, and you can play these cards. Now the fun part about this game is really picking your soldiers. So you get to pick from different different soldiers that you can bring along. They have a certain number of points that you used based upon the scenario, and then they have like different skills, I guess, and different weapons that are attached to them. You can also customize it a little bit, so some of them might not have that many, and then you can add like some of your own skills that you want, or some of your own equipment, kind of tailoring it to what you like. There's quite a bit to this game. It is, you can play a single mission, or they do have like a campaign that you can go through. if you want to. I haven't played it as much as I would like to play it. There are a lot of keywords, so if I just take this out here, this is like a trifold, and you know, some of you might find this a little intimidating. It has all these different like keywords that you're using. Maybe not as bad as Field of Fire, but definitely there's a lot to it. Now this system, there's more than just the Pacific. I believe there's also the European. They have quite a bit of different versions of this. This is, I think, DVG games. They have a modern warfighter. They have just a different themes for it. I do enjoy this. My grandfather actually fought in World War II. He wasn't in the Pacific. He was in Europe, and so I always have like a like interest in this time period, in this history. Yeah, this is a really fun game. Really customizable. It feels like a little bit like an RPG almost. You know, as you're going through it and picking your guys, and they're leveling up and gaining experience, and then you can kind of tailor them how you would like. Now, unfortunately, sometimes as you're going through the campaign, some might die and you might have to replace them. Yeah, this is a really fun game. My number 10 solo board game. All right, so my number 9 solo board game is Under Falling Skies. Now, I have done a playthrough of this on my channel if you want to check it out. So Under Falling Skies is, I think, my only game on here that's solo only. You cannot play this with others. Although I'm sure you could sit down with somebody else and kind of like talk through it like more of a co-op game. But basically, Under Falling Skies is a dice placement game with you know, a little like campaign that you go through that reveals like more abilities that you can do in the game. So you basically have these dice that you're going to roll each time, and you allocate them to different locations. You have this sky where the alien spaceships are coming towards you. Think of like Space Invaders, and they're coming towards you, or Missile Command, and you have to like blast them out of the sky. And then you have like different boards here that you place the dice on, and based upon where you place it, you get to take that action. You're managing energy. You're taking damage every time the ship comes to you. You have to take damage. There are like characters that you'll get in the game. Different cities that you can play as, and each city will have like a different effect here that you as you play the game. The board, you know, you have like several of these boards, and as the ships are moving down, they are coming, and they might activate a new ship. If they land here and you place a die in one of your guns, you get blow them up. This will make them move into the next column. And every time you place a die in one of these columns, that's how far that ship is. So if you place a 6 right here, then that ship in that column will move down 6. And as it's coming closer to your base, if it ever gets to your base takes the damage. If you ever get take too much damage, you lose the game. Really fun game, customizable. There is a campaign to the game that doesn't take too long to play through, with different choices, and you're unlocking new characters, and it adds some new mechanics to it. I am not good at this game at all. Usually, I mean, I kind of lose, or I fudge the dice a little bit sometimes. It is really difficult. I play, for me at least, I'm not saying, maybe for you, you've played this game, you're like, this is a breeze. I play on easy. I don't like flip over, like you can flip over some of these tiles to make it harder. I'm like, no, I'll just play on easy. You have to like manage the research here. So you're trying to win the game, you're trying to get to the top of the board for your research. And this is like how much research you have to spend in order to move up on it. Really challenging game, at least for me. You know, I'll roll these dice and I'll just be thinking, okay, do I place it here? Do I place it there? If I place it there, that ship will move down and it'll land here, but then it moves over. Then I place this die here. Shoot, I wish I had a better dice. And what is kind of neat with the dice is these white ones, every time you use it, you then re-roll the other dice. So you might have a bad roll and you're like, okay, let me use the white die so I can re-roll. Or you have a good roll, but your best die is the white die and you're like, should I use it now or should I play it later? This is a really fun game, really quick to play, and I think that's why it is on my list, because compared to like a lot of the other games you're going to see on my list, this is probably the shortest playing game. So it's really easy to set up on the table, play it real quick, and then have some fun thinking time of blowing up alien ships, just like you did back in the day in Space Invaders. But I really like this game. I think. Maybe they have like a newer version of this game out. I'm not 100% sure. I think originally it was like a print and play game with only a couple cards, and then they finally like made it into a full game. But a really fun game. I do have a video of this, so if you want to see more of it, you can check it out. And that is my number 9 solo board game, Under Falling Skies. All right, now my number 8 solo board game of all time is this is Hexploreit, The Forest of Adjuraman. I got this last year. This is a grand adventure, open world kind of adventure game, where you are, let me flip this over, where you are trying to explore a map that's a hex grid, and you are trying to kind of survive in this game. You have a lot of different mechanics as far as like, you got to roll for your campsite, you need food, you get gold to buy equipment and things, and you are just going wherever you kind of want. They have like different missions and characters that you can go and fight or deal with, and you're trying to do this in a certain amount of time. I'm going to just kind of get some of the things out of this box. All right, so just looking at a few things here. The big thing about this game is the character choices. So you pick a character. Now, I bought this game used off of a website, and when I got it used, it actually didn't come with these boards. These boards are for the characters. It actually didn't come with any of them. So it was a little disappointing when I bought it, but the company did send me the expansion for the game, which does have a few of these boards, so that I could still play the game using the expansion. So this game that I have here has both. I just don't have all the boards from the original game, which is fine. You can also use an app that could keep track of this as well, but there's a lot of different characters to choose from. You then also have, in the expansion, you have these like little trait things you got. You kind of pick like your class, I guess, and then your race as well. So you could be like a treant if you wanted to be for this game, or like a fairy, and then this would be like your class, and you're using these dry erase markers to write all over it. Every character has like different stats that you're trying to gear up and get better at, and it's based on like a percent roll. So you roll a 10-sided I believe a 10-sided die, and you're trying to roll under whatever your stat is. So the higher your stat is, the better chance you have it. You are obviously exploring the map. It comes with all these other cards here with different boss monsters, I guess, that you can call them, that you go and fight. It's a little complicated. There's a lot to this game. It's more leaning towards like an adventure that you're having with your characters. Now you can play more than one character. When you do play more than one character, they're always together, and kind of like a small party if you want to. I've played this both with 2 characters as well as 1 character, but you might come across these different enemies. Now, some of them you can actually defeat them completely, or you can kind of persuade them to like be good, and they will help you out. You go to like different cities, and if we go to a city, you roll on this table and you can find gear. Different things will happen, but sometimes people don't like you, so you have to be careful about that. You're trying to fight, I'm not sure if I can find it. You're trying to fight off this lady here, and you're trying to defeat her. There's a city in the game, and she's like kind of taking over that city, and she's trying to take over the forest. And so you have so much time before she does that. So you're trying to just level up, and that's the best part about this game. And I'll see if I can take out these cards. Is that there are these kind of level up cards. So when you do level up, you get to draw a few of these cards and you can pick, and every time you do it, it's just it's really fun because in one setting, this isn't a campaign game, in one setting you really feel a progression of your character, and your character keeps getting stronger and stronger. And so you might originally, when you're first starting to play it, you're in the wilderness, you're trying to find food, you're not surviving, but as you level up, you get better and better at it. You do have these hexes that you're exploring. So here's an example of a hex, the map, and each little thing has a different thing. You have like these roads, you can travel on roads, which makes it a little bit safer, but maybe you need to go to this spot, so you have to go into the woods. So when you do that, it might be a little bit more dangerous. And then there's like a lot of cards of different enemies that you fight or different events that happen that you have to take care of. I think there's a lot of different games in this series, the hexploreit series. Maybe they have like 4 or 5 different versions of this, but I really do like this game. It is a little bit longer. There are a lot of rules to it, but I really like it for the adventure that it creates, and just being able to like level up your character and just see what happens in the game. So that's my number 8, hexploreit. All right, so my number 7 solo board game kind of dropped a little bit from last year, and that is Imperium Legends. Last year this was in my top 5, but I have gotten some new games, and things have kind of shifted a little bit. But Imperium Legends is a deck building civilization game, at least maybe ancient civilizations. You're not necessarily going through all of like history with it, but just a certain time period of the different nation that you might choose. Again, it's a deck building game, a little bit more complicated than your like Dominion type of deck buildings games. So in this game, what makes it really unique is that every time you play it, you pick a civilization, and they come with their own cards here. And so every civilization feels very different the way that they play. You're going to have like a stack of these cards, and you're going to be adding more of them to your deck as you go through. But you also have like a community of cards as well that you can buy and add to your deck. So here are different like civilizations like that you could try to conquer. And when you conquer them, they would go into your deck. Again, this is all like community, so anyone could buy it. But you have just different cards you can add to your deck, and you're just trying to go through your deck usually like quicker than the bot. Now the game comes with an automa bot, and each one that you play against has like a certain rule. So when you draw over a card, you look at the icon, and then this would be the effect that happens. And so it's trying to play the game according to how this civilization should play, because each one is very different. So you do feel like you are playing against another person when you play this, and how when they do something, it might affect you, and how their goal is kind of set up. The AI goal is kind of set up to mimic if someone was actually playing that civilization, because each civilization is very unique. They have some real civilizations, as well as some like made up, like the Utopians or the Atlanteans, that play a little differently. And again, each of these decks is a different civilization here. And here's the Utopians, and they're going to play a little bit differently. They have these scroll cards here that you're going to be placing out, which is going to be totally different than playing as the Egyptians, who when you play as the Egyptians, they're all about like building and developing. So each one plays quite different. There are, I think, 2 other versions of this game. actually, technically, I guess there's three. So, uh, three other. So there's this one, which is the Legends version of the game. There's one with the Classic, which has, I think, I'm not sure how many civilizations, maybe 8 or 10 that come in the other one. Then there's one called Horizon, which is a little bit bigger than this one. This is the only one I have. And then they just recently came out with a Star Trek version of this one. A lot of people say that that one's pretty good. And they like the Star Trek theme on it. But I only have this one. This one's really fun, especially if you like just deck building. It can be challenging. It's a little bit different than your normal deck building because you're not like a lot of deck buildings. You have like a cost for the card, and you like spend coins or something to purchase a card. Where this one, it's more about like the card itself is going to tell you whether or not you can gain a card or not. So you're trying to best utilize your cards to make your deck a little bit better, as well as trying to get like your own personal cards into your deck as well. And it does have like a neat like trashing mechanic to the game, to where your deck's not super thick, and you can get those cards out by doing like the history of your civilization. So it's really neat. I think the reason why this might have dropped is because I do have some other games that I've been playing and enjoying, and then this one, although the bot is really neat, that you have this, sometimes I feel like I'm spending more time going through the bot actions than I do with my own turn, and always like that kind of feeling in games I don't really like. I don't like how I'm spending more time doing something else than me actually playing the game. I do think though maybe in the new Horizon they have like a different kind of solo mode that maybe I need to try out, where you don't even use a bot at all. You kind of like just, it's more like a practice session, so you can learn how to play the different nations. And maybe I need to try that, and maybe I'll play this a little bit more. But I still do very much like this game. I do like it. So I've never played it multiplayer. You can play it multiplayer. I don't know if you would want to or not. Maybe it'll be fun, but it can be a little bit long, and I can only imagine with more players the game would feel even longer. But this is still a fun game, and that is Imperium Legends. All right, my number 6 game, solo game of all time, was on my list last year, my top 5. So I think this might have been my my number 5. So it did drop, but it did go above Imperium Legends. And that game is the epic strategy game, The Colonist. Now, I have done a playthrough of this if you want to check it out. This game is a kind of like building game where you're building up a little like colony, playing different buildings, and then getting different type of workers to kind of do the actions in the building. This game is, if you've ever played Anno 1408, it's almost like identical to that video game of Anno 1408. I know they have an Anno board game out there. I'm pretty sure that whoever made this game based this off of that video game. I think I mentioned that last year, or even when I did my playthrough. Like even the tools that you get, some of the mechanics of the game really feels like that video game. And I play that game. I enjoy that game very much. But let me just open up and see what's inside. So this game comes with a ton of components, a ton of different types of resources. You got your typical brick, which means you have clay in here somewhere. All kinds of different resources. That's why I think I like this game so much. I like games that have a lot of like resources that you're kind of using those resources to get more things. You have baggies and baggies of different buildings, all these different buildings. And the neat part about it, I don't know if you can see it, but you have this like storage house, and you need more storage. So as you're getting like resources, you have to place them in the storage. You can't, and it's really kind of a little bit confusing, but there's like a mechanic of you can't play in the resource if you don't have the storage. So you need to be like very like You can't just put things in there and then use them. So a lot of like managing your resources in this way. And this is very much like the video game, because you had to have like storehouses in the video game for all your resources. And then you have these different types of people. So I'm not sure what each of them are, but maybe this one's like a farmer type person. And so they can go in certain buildings. So every building has like a different kind of worker that can go into that building and actually do the things of that building. And then you're also like, as they progress, so like the farmers, and then maybe citizens or something, and then I'm not sure what the red guys are. There's kind of like a hierarchy of these characters. Your green guys, you don't really need to worry about what they need, but as you go to the yellow guys, they might want food and they want something else, so you have to have those resources in order for them to work. And then the highest ones are the red, and they might need, like a nice clothing and more food in order for them to work in your buildings. So there's always like that kind of upkeep. And then I'm going to not get all these out, but you have like this main map area that you're playing on, and you're moving your pawn. And when you move your pawn to that spot, you do the action of that location. And you can do that, I think, 3 times. You move around and do those locations. You can also have these like markets where you immediately go to that market, and there's like a market action that you can do there. And you're trying to like figure out like, okay, let me go here first to get the wood, and let me come here now that I have the wood, and I already have some planks, and I have a tool already, so I can build that library. And then maybe I'll go over here to get a coin, and then I get to draw 2 cards. So there's a lot of like cards that you use that can help you in your game. It feels a little bit like Ora Labora, if you ever played that Uwe Rosenberg game. Feels a little bit like that, or even Agricola type of game, where you're just trying to manage your resources and build up your area. There's also a lot of customization to the game. You have these different colonies that you can kind of support, and you just turn in those resources, and then you get these like special abilities. And everything's all about getting these gold coins, which are points. So you don't use the gold coins for anything, but they're just points. And you're trying to generate the most points. There is 4 eras, or 4, I think they're called eras in the game, which each one kind of takes long, because you kind of start off with like a small area, but you're going each kind of like round or phase, you're gonna be adding like more and more, and this is going to just get way bigger. They do have like a saving mechanic in this game, where you could play like the first era and then you could quit. You don't actually have to put anything away. You just kind of remember like the number of points you earned, and then you kind of, when you come back, you set it up according to like how many points you had. And then so you could play like all 4 eras, which would take a long time, or you could play like 1 or 2. You could just play 1 and 2 and just say, hey, I'm done. I think I did that with my playthrough. I played 1 and 2 and then just did the final scoring. But I do think it's better to go through all the eras. It has like, again, a ton of components, a ton of different buildings. Like, this game just has so much strategy. It's really what I like the resources. I like the different buildings. You can go different routes for as far as strategy goes. I've never played this multiplayer. I can only imagine how long it would take to play this multiplayer, but I played this solo and rather enjoy it. And that is The Colonist. All right, we are now in the top 5 solo board games of all time for me, Loudon Board Gaming. So these games, if I had only done a top 5, the previous 5 wouldn't even have made the list. So, but I did do a top 10, and we do have quite a bit of new games in this list. So the first one is new, and I'm going to show it right now, and that is Fallout, the board game. I recently just got this. It was actually a used copy off of Facebook. I believe it was Facebook Market, and I just got this. I love the Fallout franchise. I love the video games. I think I've played about all of all of the video games. I haven't beaten them all, but I'm pretty sure I've played them all. Fallout 4 is probably my favorite of all of them. But so this is the board game. Now I remember when this first came out, not a lot of people I think liked it, or they kind of like were like this with it. They didn't like the competitiveness of the board game, but some people were saying like it was good solo. I kind of I remember this was on sale once on Amazon, and I almost bought it, and then I didn't, and I kind of regret that I didn't, but I'm glad I have it now. There are some expansions for this game, and though they are super expensive right now, you know, probably a year ago you probably could have gotten them for pretty cheap, but I feel like everyone right now, if they have like some expansion for a game, they are reselling it at just ridiculous prices, not just for this game but for other games as well. So I only have this. I don't have like any of the expansions, but this game, which I did play on my channel, oh man, I just loved it so much. I played it like, you know, first time I got it, I played it like 3 times in a row, and you can see the playthrough I did of it. So if you're familiar with Fallout, you are kind of a character that's going off on this RPG adventure, and you're trying to level up. And here you can see we have like the special, and every time you get this, it'll give you some, you know, special ability. You have like radiation in your health, and so if they ever come meet together, you're dead. So you're trying to manage both, you know, not taking too much hit points but also not taking too much radiation. If you've played the video game before, this feels like it. I mean, everything in it, at least for me it did. You got your different enemies, you got your ghouls here. If you've been watching the TV series, you know, this might be fun to get to. You have your raiders. You got different robots that you can come across, different bugs. So you're just exploring a map here, and let me see if I can get those out. So you have these different tiles here, and you're flipping them over and you're exploring, and then you go on different locations, and a lot of the locations are from the different video games. So not just one of the games, but a couple different ones. You have the tower here. So just different locations. Like this one's completely radiated, and then this is like where a monster would be. They do have death claws in it. And then here are your minis, which are super cool. So you can be a super mutant if you want, or this is probably like a wastelander. Really cool minis here, and you are just again leveling up, getting gear. Like it has all these different cards. Now what's really neat is they have these deck of cards that are kind of like story driven, and so you're going to be revealing these cards and reading the story, and then you know, you'll have different choices that you will make on the cards, and depending on what you do will affect that scenario. I think it comes with a few different scenarios in the game that you can play, and what's nice is it's not a campaign. Although I do like campaign games, sometimes you don't finish them. You know, this is just a one-time thing. You just play it, you go through it. There's no campaign, but you can have like that story and that feeling of the game. So again, like you have the different dice that you're rolling, and you're trying to hit the enemies according to, you know, their body parts, which is kind of like the video game a little bit. There's different equipment. So I'll take this out real quick and show you. You got different companions that you can get. You got different items, you know, formal wear, which is going to help you in your game. They have bottle caps that you use to purchase them. All kinds of things that will remind you of playing the video game. Like I said, there's several different scenarios you can play that are from different games. Like it might be from Fallout 1 or it might be from Fallout 3. So it's not just Fallout 4 or anything like that. Although I think a lot of the art is probably from Fallout 4. You can even get the cool power armor, which I think one of the characters you start off with that. You get magazines. So a lot of like theme. with this game, and I really enjoyed it, especially solo, just kind of like setting it up, exploring, feeling like you're playing the video game, and a lot of different character variety. You have the different scenarios, and it's always going to kind of play out differently. I did do a solo play of it, which I don't think if you've ever watched any of my games, I usually don't win. So I think when I had played this for my channel, I did not win, but that's okay. But this is, yeah, a really fun game. I wish I had like the atomic expansion, because I think it just adds more to the game and kind of helps it out a little bit to play it solo. But unfortunately, it's like, you know, $200 on eBay. So, but this is my number 5, Fallout the board game. Really enjoying it, and yep. All right, now we're at number 4, solo board game. Some people might have this as their number 1 solo board game. This did drop a little bit for me compared to my last year, and that is Mage Knight, the board game. I think a while back this probably used to be a lot of people's number 1, as maybe there wasn't as many solo games out there. Nowadays, most games have like a solo variant. But yeah, so Mage Knight, the board game, is a game all about exploring and open world kind of game. And every time you play, you know, you really can go in any kind of direction that you want. It has a light deck building aspect to the game, where you have a deck of cards and you're going to slowly add things to it, like spells or skill cards that's going to help you out. You're also going to get like helpers as well, and you're basically exploring this map and fighting off monsters, or going to the town and the cities, destroying things, or being good. There's a reputation track. I'm just going to open this up real quick. All right, so we have this board here, which these are like experience points, so you'll be leveling up your character, and when you level up, you're going to get you know, some skills based upon the character you are, and then you get also like pick a card that's going to help your deck out. You also have this like reputation track, and based upon your reputation, you'll be able to do certain things or not be able to do certain things. So very open-ended as far as what you can do. You have this kind of travel different terrains for traveling, and this is like the daytime. Then you have nighttime, so at night it's a little bit harder to travel versus the daytime. And you are getting mana crystals. I don't know if I can pull those out really quick, but there are these like mana dice here, and you roll them each time, and the mana will help you trigger certain effects on your cards. You are exploring tiles here. This is like the start tile, and you start exploring and building out a map. You can have like a wizard tower here. You can have an enemy here. The combat is very deterministic, so if we just take a look at some enemies here. So already printed on the enemy, it tells you like how much like damage they do, how much health they have, how much defense they have, and then any kind of special trait they may have. So you already know ahead of time whether or not you can defeat the enemy. And what's really neat about the game is, as you're looking at your cards, let's see if I can just pull some out here without mixing up everything. As you're, you know, looking at your cards, you're kind of like deciding you know, where you can go, like which cards are you going to use for traveling, which cards are you going to use for attacking. And because you kind of know like what the enemy can do to you, you start to think like, okay, if I play this card for moving and then I play this card for attacking, well, he's going to do, you know, 2 damage to me, but I'll be able to, you know, defeat him. So do I really want to do that? Because every time you take damage, you get a blood card and gets added to your deck, so it kind of clogs up your deck a little bit. So you might be like, well, I don't really want to do that. So then you start looking at your cards again and be like, well, can I go off and do something else? Maybe I can go over to this monastery here and burn it down if I want to. And that would give me like a spell card or something. Or maybe I just do some trading with them. You can also get like helpers to these don't actually go to your deck, but you can get these helpers that will help you do certain abilities. They can also take some damage for you, so you could use them for fighting. So a lot of different things you can do. You can also like use cards to like boost other card effects. So it's kind of neat how all your cards, although they can be used one way, you can also use them to trigger like the special ability of other cards. A lot of variety to it. You have different different characters you can be, and each character has like different skills that they get. Now my version of the game, I do not have all the pieces for it. This was actually my younger brother had this game, and he's not as much into board games as I am, and he was showing me a picture of his kind of like his board game collection, and I saw this on a shelf. I said, "Whoa, you got Mage Knight the board game?" He's like, "I do? I don't even know what that is." He had gotten this from actually my dad, who had bought it through some like liquidation thing. My dad has no idea too, but yeah, you can see on here was a liquidation. So it just came in like a bundle of things, and he gave it to my brother. My brother then gave it to me. So it does have a few missing pieces, but there's enough in here to, you had all the cards. There's just maybe some of the enemies and character skill cards are missing, but really fun game. I can see why it's always most people just play the solo, because when you're trying to think about your turn, you're taking a long time trying to figure out what you want to do. So I think in multiplayer that will just make things even longer. And I'm not ever saying like long games are bad. I like playing long games, but you might not want to be sitting there waiting for someone else to take their turn, and their turn, you know, is taking like 30 minutes because they're trying to figure out all that they can do. So I think that's why a lot of people probably play this solo. There are expansions to it. I don't have any of the expansions. There's even like an ultimate edition that you get everything for it. I think they also have like a Star Trek, another Star Trek version of this game. I think it's called Star Trek Frontier by WizKids. But I just have this version of it. This is really fun. It did drop a little bit. I probably don't play it as much, but you know, just opening it now, I kind of want to play it. Again, it's like an adventure game. You just go out and do whatever you want. It can take a while to play, but definitely a fun game. It's going to be different every time you play it, and that is Mage Knight, the board game. All right, so my number 3 solo board game of all time actually moved up. It surpassed the Mage Knight, and that is Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle-earth. I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Probably my favorite of my Lord of the Rings games is actually War of the Rings. But this game, this is another adventure game, another campaign adventure game where you are going through an adventure in Middle-earth. And last year, I think this was number 4, and this moved up to number 3, partly because I had just recently played this again, and I kind of like went through took me about maybe 10 days, less than 10 days to go through like an entire campaign. I just had so much fun doing it. I put it on like the easy mode just so wouldn't stress about it. I guess I'm not. If you see my channel and seen the games I played on here, I usually don't win. So I did play on the easy mode, but it did kind of make things go a little bit quicker. I have both of the big box expansions in here. And basically what you're doing in Lord of the Rings, you're choosing one well-known characters, or I think they have some made-up characters as well. You're choosing a well-known character from the Lord of the Rings, like Gimli or Legolas or Gandalf, and you're going through and you are just kind of having like an adventure on these tiles, and you go to the different tile spaces and you interact with it. It is app-driven, so you use the app to kind of let you know how the adventure is going. And you just never know what you're going to come across. It randomly generates the map too for you as you're playing. So I guess if you played it again, it's not quite ever the same. But you also have like, let me just get some things out here. You can see here, this is a little thing I made to hold all the cards for all the different expansions. So there's a little bit of I don't want to say deck building, but deck upgrading. You always have, I think, 12 cards in your deck, and but as you're leveling up, you're changing those cards out. And when you pick a character, you get to pick kind of like your role in the game too. So even though I maybe played as Gimli one game, the next game I could play Gimli and pick like a different role, and it'd feel a little bit different. And these are all the different cards from the. Like I said, I have the base game with the 2 big box expansions, but then you have like the adventure map, but then sometimes you have like a board like this, which is a little bit more zoomed in kind of adventure here, and you're just going to like different tiles. You might set up different walls and stuff, and there'll be enemies here. A lot of different enemy variations. Let's see if I can get this out so we can see the minis. So here's all the different minis you got for the game. Really nice. You know, look at that. Man, that's creepy. A lot of different minis, enemies you can fight against. I have all these different characters to use. We got the bear. So you got some trolls here. You never know like who's going to show up, and when you have like the different expansions and you play the campaign through the app, you pick the ones that you have, so it'll integrate those enemies into your game. So even though these foul beasts, I guess, weren't in the base game, they might show up when I do a campaign from the base game. And each expansion adds another campaign. I even have, let's see, over here on my desk, I just keep the Bell Rock. So, and I actually haven't gone through the campaigns for the expansions yet. I've gone through the campaign for the base game, but I do want to do that pretty soon here. This game is just so much fun. There's so much, like I have so much content now for it. I can be any of these different heroes that I want. You know, we got, I think this is Legolas, maybe. Not sure, but you know, different heroes that you can be. You can be dwarves, you can be elves, you can be Bilbo Baggins somewhere in here. Here's some more dwarves. We got a bunch of dwarves. You know, this looks like Boromir. You have Gandalf here. So all the different characters you can play as. Now this is also fun multiplayer. I played it multiplayer as well. I do like playing it solo. One of the things that playing some of these games that are campaigns is a little bit harder to play multiplayer, to get those get other people who are going to play like 12 games of this with you. So playing solo allows me to go through the campaign a little bit quicker. I do wish there was like just a standalone kind of gameplay of it where you just set it up and you just play once and then that's it. There is no campaign to it, but even that, like I said, I was able to like knock out a campaign in about 10 days if I just leave it, just leave it set up on my table, and then every day I just play like one game of it, or maybe even 2 games depending on how the scenario goes. But I really enjoy this game. I really kind of want maybe everything for it. I don't have the smaller expansions for it, but I wish I did. I mean, look at these things. This is so cool. Those are pretty cool. You even got the Orifant here in this bag. So yeah, this game did go up because, man, I just, like I said, I just recently played it. I really enjoyed it. It was so fun. Deck building kind of, and you get new items and new cards, and your items are upgrading as well, and sometimes you have choices of what kind of upgrade you want. So maybe I have like a regular bow, and then I have a choice between like a great bow and a hunter's bow or something like that. So you got a lot of different choices. There's a lot of shuffling of the cards though, so you might not like that too much, but a really fun adventure game, especially if you like Lord of the Rings. Definitely has that Lord of the Rings flavor and feel to it, and playing the different characters and fighting the different monsters, and orcs are like swarming you all the time, and you kind of have to choose sometimes because there's like a time limit. So it's like, do I go and fight those orcs, or do I go and just search for this token and try to not lose the game because of the time runs out. But again, this is my number 3rd solo board game of all time, Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle Earth. Alrighty, my number 2 solo board game of all time is new to the list. I got this game last year, and it is Dark Souls, the board game. And I have this and all the different tiles here, as well as actually I think this has all the bosses for the game in it. Yeah, this has the bosses that I have, because I have a few different expansions. So yeah, I picked up this game last year, and when I got it, I bought them used. I know there's a newer edition of this game out, but I bought it used. I bought a couple different expansions for it. I'm a big Dark Souls fan. I've played 1 and 3. I played Elden Ring as well. And so I bought this game used with a couple different expansions to it. I watched videos of people playing the game before I bought it. I wasn't so sure about whether I would get it or not, because I know there's been some maybe bad reviews when this game first came out. I think the game came out maybe 2016. And so there was like some not so great reviews on it. Some people complain about how long it was, and you're just repeating the same rooms over and over again. But I kind of like learned that there's a lot of different variants out there that people play. I probably shouldn't do this. A lot of variants that people play of this game. House ruling it, so where it doesn't feel so repetitive, making the game a little bit quicker. And like I said, they do have like a new version of this game, more like a 1.5 version of the game, that maybe helps a little bit. And when I play the game, I kind of like pick and choose what kind of variants I want to use, or some house rules. I've actually played it without the house rules and find it just as fun. And basically what you're doing in this game is you are choosing a character, a hero, and you are basically going kind of through the dungeon and fighting different monsters on the tiles. The monsters have like an AI to them. And here, I'll just open this up, see what we got. And like I said, I bought a lot of different expansions for this game. If you're familiar with Dark Souls, I bought the character pack, so I have all these different characters. Whoops, I kind of mixed them up. I even got the little gem guy in one of them. You can see here all the different characters that you can be. So you have like the Herald, you get the Mercenary, and you're trying to level them up throughout the game. And really the stats don't really do anything in the game other than allows you to wear different equipment. Down here you have like a stamina and health tracker, and so you use stamina to do actions, but then your health is also filling up, and if they ever cross, you're dead. They do have like a special ability here for each of the different heroes. And you might think that, well, there's not too much different, but what's really fun about this game is especially when you get a lot of the expansions, the characters can play very differently based upon what equipment you get. I played once where it was like I was up and close to the monsters and fighting them, with a giant shield and a sword, and getting really close and attacking them. But then I'll play it again as another character, and I will be doing like range attacks and doing magic attacks. And then I'll play again, and I'm like dodging the monsters and trying to get some bleed on the monsters. And so I feel like every time I play the game, and based upon what character I pick and what equipment I get, the combat does feel different. And I just have like tons of different stuff for the game. I even have the mimics here. If you're familiar with the video game, we have phantoms that can disrupt your gameplay. all kinds of different baddies here. You know, this is from the guy from Dark Souls 3. You know, so a lot of variety. And then that's not even, these are just like the regular enemies. You know, the boss monsters, you have like large boss monsters and you have mini boss monsters. And so one game, you'll first kind of go through the dungeon and fight the mini boss, and then you go again through, you know, some more not the same dungeon but a different dungeon to fight the main boss. And you don't have to do like, you know, back to back like that. You can just you know, play where maybe you do a mini boss in one scenario, you know, save all your stuff, and then you know, go against a boss monster. Here's one that's pretty famous. Here's the wolf. I mean, these minis are just huge. You know, even comparing them to the Lord of the Rings ones, so huge. Now, some people might not like the game because of the dice rolling. I don't mind it. There's a like the new version of the game. I think the dice are a little bit more forgiving. Like, I think originally you could either try to attack or dodge. You couldn't do like both. But now in the updated version, you roll all your dice and you can then pick if to dodge or to like use your shields. But then you're like upgrading your equipment, so you're getting better dice to do more damage. There's treasure tokens. I actually don't use these tokens because I have the expansion with the actual minis of them. I'm not sure if those are in here. I got tons of different monster decks, and it's kind of cool. The monsters have like AI to them, a card that tells you how they're moving and you know, how they're going to attack. So you kind of already know how they're moving. The boss monsters actually have a deck of cards, and you're flipping them out, and those tell you how they're going to attack, and you can kind of, you know how they're going to attack. Let me get out a board. And so here's an example of a board, and you place your character on these nodes, and you can move along the nodes. And maybe the card that you draw, it says, okay, place this monster, this type of monster here, place one here. Maybe you have to place a treasure somewhere. Maybe you have like traps laying around. Usually when I play it, because these boards are pretty big, I actually just put one out. And instead of like exploring like the dungeon, because there's not really much to the exploration anyways, I just put one board out, fight all the monsters, and then put like another board on top of it. If you die, just like in Dark Souls, you have to like restart. You get souls, you lose those souls. You could then, you can actually go to the bonfire, you level up at the bonfire, and then that will like respawn all the enemies, so you would have to go through the dungeon again. There are some house rules where you can just play, like, let's say I went through this whole room and I didn't take a single damage, didn't take a single hit, then I can just say like, okay, the next time I go through it, I just automatically, you know, win it. So there's those kinds of house rules that you can do. What's really neat is just the node system. I really like it because the AI, it's kind of interesting. Like when I first started playing it, you know, I was like, man, this is kind of hard, and I keep losing, keep dying. But then I started learning like the system, just like in Dark Souls, when you're playing the video game, you start to learn like how the enemies attack and how they move, and you try to, like, I don't want to say cheese them, but you kind of like use your environment to your advantage sometimes. Or, you know, like you know, you don't want to fight an enemy where you might roll and fall off the cliff and die. So you might try to lure the enemy to a safer spot. And I kind of learned how, you know, when you move the character AI, like sometimes it says like, okay, you got, like maybe I'm here and the enemy's here, and you know, it says to move closer to me. Well, I think when I first was doing this, and if you're playing this game, you might move them here thinking that this is closer, right? Because technically, like, it's spatial wise, yes, this is probably closer, but it moves close to, you know, the number of moves for nodes. So like, yes, here is closer. Like if I was here, this is closer, but also if I move here, this is just as close. A spot right here, or this spot is just as close, because this is 1, 2. This is also 1, 2. And so when I would move the AI, instead of moving them here, I might move them over here. And then that way it keeps the enemies from going in the middle, because if enemy is in the middle, then the enemy has like more opportunities to get to your character. So you can like kind of keep away from that enemy and kind of like direct the enemy in a certain way to kind of benefit you. I really kind of like that kind of thinking of, you know, hey, I kind of learned how to play this game better as I was playing it. And it depends on your character. Maybe if I'm a mage character that does attacks, I might try to get to the corner and try not to have the AI go to the middle and try to think about, okay, where's the best way to keep them away. But if I'm fighting up close, you know, I might not worry so much about that and do that. Like you can get armor that will, like, you know, greatly take damage for you. You know, it can be just like this heavy set armor character, or you can just be someone who's dodging all the time. This game is definitely like thematic, almost like too much thematic, because sometimes that's like, you know, I can see that they added that into this board game because, oh, you do that in the video game, but maybe that wasn't the best decision. But man, I have so much fun with this game. You know, I played it once and I just kept playing it over and over again. I have a lot of expansions. I then bought some more expansions. I got all these different tiles, got all these different bosses. I got so much replayability of this. But yeah, I really like this game. I understand that this game's probably not for everybody, and some people probably don't like it. If you know, again, I house rule some things, but some things I don't. And each time I play it, I might try like a different house rule. You know, I might play it where, you know, I have like all the items are out in a display, and then I have a little bit more choice as what items I get. Or I might play where it's like, hey, it's just going to be completely random anyways, and we'll see what I get. But yeah, this is Dark Souls, the board game. Really love playing it, and this is my #2 solo board game. All right, we are at my #1 solo board game of all time. If you have seen any of my videos, you're probably not surprised by this one at all. I really love this game. I love the IP of this game, and that is G.I. Joe, the deck building game. This game, for me, is just so much fun playing solo. I have played it multiplayer once, but just for solo purposes, I love the IP of G.I. Joe. I grew up in the 80s as a kid, and I got G.I. Joes. I think even when I was like, you know, 3 or 4 years old, I was getting G.I. Joes. I know my older siblings, my older brothers were getting G.I. Joes. I still have some of the G.I. Joe figures from back then. I have the you know, the G.I. Joe headquarters up in my attic. I have even some of the new classic Joe, or what are they called? They're called classified Joes even. But yeah, this game, and I know this isn't for everybody, but this game is a deck building game with dice. And as I open this up, this actually has all of the kind of expansion stuff. It has all the little bits and pieces, the things. I really have I bought this right here to hold all of the cards, because I have every expansion except for the silent interlude, I think it's called, with the Snake Eyes version. But yeah, this is so much fun. So basically what you're doing is you're going through like a scenarios and campaigns. Even that's the one of the expansions is a campaign, but you pick a mission, and it's like a little like cartoon episode, if you want to think of, for G.I. Joes, and you just go through those, flipping over, seeing what's going to happen. They even have some that are pretty familiar missions here, and you're just going through trying to roll to make success based upon the skills of your Joes. Now, some people might not like this because of the dice rolling, because it is very random, although the dice are pretty cool. I do like the dice. Let's see if I can get those out. Yeah, so here are the dice, and you just, you know, you kind of take your Joes and see what skills they have for what you're trying to do, and you roll them, and you know, these are successes, these are not successes. So a lot of times I'm like rolling like a bunch of these, and maybe and fail it. I'll just fail it because I needed like 3, and I was rolling like 8 dice, and I only got 2. So that happens quite a bit, but that's okay. That's part of the fun of it. You know, you're not always going to win. Matter of fact, if you watch any of my videos on it, I have quite a bit. Every expansion that I own, I have done a video of. I even did the flag campaign, which is cool. So it's like an over. I mean, look at this. This is the flagship. Doesn't really serve a purpose other than to hold like cards, but still pretty cool. I still have like all these envelopes are for the secret mission. We have this vehicle here, which I'm not as familiar with because I think this came out in the late 80s, but not as familiar with it. I even have the G.I. Joe headquarters somewhere in here. Oh, and then this right here, they did a crossover with Transformers. So this expansion introduces the Transformers. So if you like the Transformers, you can add that to this game. And actually, I have the Transformers deck building game, which is okay. It didn't make my top 10, but if I do want to play, this is actually better than the actual board game of Transformers. But yeah, this is just so much stuff I have here with the game, and you pick your leader, your Cobra leader. Let's see if I can find those at all. Yeah, like right here. So you have all these different characters you can be, especially when you have all the expansions. You know, you can pick some of your favorite Joes. Like Shipwreck is actually one of my favorite Joes. That's probably why I did. You know, Snake Eyes. I like Snake Eyes, but he's not necessarily my favorite Joe because I didn't have him as a kid. So the ones that are my favorite are Gun Ho because I had him as a kid, Shipwreck, and then you kind of level up your Joe as well. And this is a deck building game, so you're adding more Joes. And this is what I liked more about the G.I. Joe deck building game than the Transformers deck building game is that I felt like every time I flipped over a new card in the market, it was like, oh, look at that Joe. I remember that Joe from the cartoon. I remember that Joe. I remember this Joe. You know, like you'll flip over Outback and I don't know who repeater is. Chuckles. You know, Psych Out. You have all these different characters that you have that you can that you remember from the old TV show. And so every time it was like you're buying them. I didn't really care sometimes. I was just like, I just like that Joe. I want him in my deck. I don't even care if it helps me or not. And then you have so many different Cobras here. Yeah, the twins, which were my favorite Cobras because again I had them as a toy. Cobra Commander. You have Fiona, which came with the Crocmaster. You know, so many, yeah, there's the Crocmaster there. Scrap Iron, I have that figure too. You have the Dreadnoughts in here. Serpentor. So all these different characters that you remember. And then even you have these are like the bad things, bad events that happen in the game. You have, let's see, I'm trying to find, oh, vehicles. Yeah, tons of vehicles in the game. So you're getting the vehicles from the TV show, and you're kind of putting your Joes on these vehicles and then doing the missions. So it's so cool. And this is actually a Transformer vehicle here. So that's part of the Transformer expansion. You can add like these tow things. Actually, this is Prime's trailer, and here's the Transformers that you can add if you want to. Ooh, cool blaster. Hot Rod, I have that. I have the Rodimus Prime. Yeah, these are so cool. Man, just looking at this, I'm going to probably play this as soon as I put this down. You get the, again, Transformers and G.I. Joes and just all kinds of different Cobras. And then you have like different troopers that you have based upon the expansion, Snow Serpents. And they're going to be bothering you and you have to defeat them. They're the Crimson Guards. So much to this game. I just love playing this game. It feels like G.I. Joe. Again, it's not going to be for everybody. I know some people just hate the game because of the randomness of the dice and they never feel like they're winning. I really don't care about that with this game. I just want to get my Joes, you know, feel like I'm doing a Joe mission. Maybe sometimes it takes a little longer than usual. Especially depends on if you're adding these expansions. But you know, right now I have like so much content. I have like all this content. I just don't have the one expansion. I didn't get any of the promos. Here's the base. You know, you can just play with the GI Joe base, and yeah, it brings a little bit of that nostalgia of playing with my Joes when I was a kid, and you know, man, I just love this game so much, and there's so much variety to it. And every time you're trying to upgrade your deck, I tend to play it at least on the channel. I think I did one-handed because it was a little bit hard for me to manage playing, recording. There's Mainframe. I used to have Mainframe as well. Another favorite character of mine. Look at this. You can play in the jet. Oh yeah, the Awestruck. I actually had this vehicle when I was a kid as well. So this is what I'm talking about. Oh, Beachhead. Yes, I actually have the classified version of Beachhead. Like I said, this is what I like about just seeing. Oops. Spirit and Freedom. I have the classified version of this. My older brother had the figure. He might still have the figure. Deep Six. I have the Deep Six. So again, Tunnel Rat. He's cool. Jinx. My younger brother had Jinx as a kid. Yeah, so this is what it just brings back those memories of playing with your Joes, and that's why I like this probably more than the Transformers, because I have so many different Joes that you can be. I actually bought the role playing book for that came out. Renegades made this game. They came out with like role playing RPG books. I have that, so I'm starting to like make my own Joes. It'd be kind of neat to make a Joe and then kind of make it for this game. That'd be kind of cool to do. But so much variety to it. There's even pets. I think one of the edition adds pets. There's like Cobra vehicles. You can like take over Cobra vehicles and use them in your game. So much you can do in this game, and who cares if you lose all the time. That's okay. I can play this game probably forever. It's just really fun. I still want to get that last expansion. When I saw it, I wasn't like crazy about it because you're just playing it as Snake Eyes, and it didn't seem like it added more to it. But I guess there's like a new solo version of it, so you would think that that's the one I would want to get since it is a little bit more for solo play. But yeah, this is such a great game. I absolutely love it. And I don't care if I lose. And I have so many different heroes, leaders I can be, Roblox, you know, Duke. Man, I could sit here forever and just go through all these cards and just, you know, just like how much I like it. So anyway, so that is my #1 game of all time. It's not going to be for everybody. You have to, I think you really have to be a G.I. Joe fan. I mean, you could like it without being a G.I. Joe fan. But this is my #1 game. It probably won't, I don't see it ever being replaced ever at all. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's gone kind of long. Why don't you leave some comments of maybe what are your favorite solo games, or maybe why you don't like this game or any of the games that I presented. If you see any games on this list that I have not done, there's a few of them I haven't done yet. I do plan on doing them, but just leave it in the comments and saying, hey, I would love to see you play this game. But thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. So long.